So, hello everyone. Welcome to Spiritism at Noon. We are currently studying the book by Joanna de Angelis, A Full Life, through the psychography of the medium Divaldo Franco. And as always, we will present to you the chapters we are going to be reading and stopping for comments and questions you may have. So I'm going to share my screen and so we can start. Okay, so we have a very interesting lesson today. Everyone rejoice. Dear friends, devoted to the good, hold your tears. The tears you shed over the pain you feel touch the spirit guides watching over you. The challenges faced by Christians committed to their journey of redemption are multiplying. Everywhere you are confronted by problems that test your strength and moral principles. All those who think they know you, in reality, they do not. Even you do not know yourself enough because the victimization trend that has taken over modern society, uncommitted to the ethical values that should always be upheld, expects to be served instead of embracing a life of service. Being an observer with no responsibilities to maintaining the order is always very pleasant and convenient, as if just one group of people had the obligation to work for our benefit, allowing us to complain, granting us the right to access all we need and want, and even to justify our own inertia. The social group, however, is made by different types of people, which, in a way, creates the harmony of the whole. A building requires that the multiple steps in the constructions process be thoroughly followed. Okay, we can stop now. I think we all agree with the first paragraphs, right? It's been a difficult time for all of us. It seems that problems and uh, are multiplying all around us, not necessarily directly with us, but all around us. We see so much unquietness in the world, and in a way that it kind of obliviate, or the all the impulses and the works of good. And we even have a tendency to think that perhaps it's not happening, or it's not worth for us to try, because it seems that the more we sing, the more the ocean, the bigger the ocean gets. And and what she's trying to tell us here, even with the title, Everyone Rejoice. So it's a message to lead us to reflect upon everything that we have achieved, and not just as individuals, but as a society compared to where we were before. But having said that, she comes and say, but listen, eh, our society today has a tendency to place each and every one as victims. And we get into this process of victimization, even in relation, of course, to what is happening to us. And we start, feeling sorry for ourselves, and somehow even feeling that, it's not fair, the things that are happening to us. And she says, I mean, the antidote to that is actually a life of service. of service here. It doesn't mean that, okay, I'm going to forget about my life and just dedicate it to others. It is a process that combines everything. You know, the more we leave the shell, like like the oyster, we will see that the world is much more than just that, that shell that's enveloping us, and at points bringing us uncomfort. And she says, but also it's necessary to take action, because it's very easy if we, in the comfort of our homes, our shelter, we just say people are not doing anything to change. Look what they are doing, and they, and we don't include I. What can I do to contribute? What can uh, I do to change if I cannot change uh, the whole situation, but can I change a little bit the energy that is around? Can I contribute with good uh, words and energy? Uh, because criticize and just putting uh, more wood in the fire is not going to stop the fire, right? We have to do something about that. And then she says, this is why also, like we study in the spirits book, we live in a society, and where we are going to be finding different talents, and everyone has a special one that can contribute to the construction, to the building of a new society, of what we want to do. So this is how we know progress is a collective action. We cannot just wait for others to do their part and justify us not doing anything because they are not doing their part. So perhaps we were the ones invited to motivate them. We are waiting for others to motivate us. When they start, I will start as well. But maybe if we start when we motivate them and show them that it's possible, they will do the same. They will follow us as well. And comments and questions. Yes, Marcel.
The part that I think more important is this one about the victimization, and I'm thinking here, the you can stay like victiming, you're doing a passive attitude, no, and wasting time, and I think the person that do this, or I'm including myself, because
Yeah.
sometimes I'm saying, I'm victim, I'm poor, oh poor me. So I waste time when I do this, and I bring bad energies to me. I was doing anything when I'm doing this, not bringing solution to the problem, you know. And I think when one cause could be comparison, they had more time, or they had more, they can do this, I can't. So I'm wondering here, how we, why we do this, why we are like acting like victims, no? So I'm wondering why we do this. I don't know if you understand my point.
No, I did, and I think it's there are so many psychological aspects behind all that, and of course we are talking about the Spirit Joanna de Angelis, that is absolutely expert on the field of psychology, and the human nature, with the addition of understanding the immortality of the souls and the reincarnation. So all the concepts she brings to us, it's actually, it sometimes they may seem very easy for us to absorb, but they will steer changes and bring discomfort to us, because now, like you said, Probably all of us here will get to a point where you are going through something that you will feel sorry for yourself and say, oh my God, why this happened, this has to happen to me all the time, and I barely recover from one thing, now there is another, and another and another, I need a break, or this and that, and it seems that the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, right? Everything is great with others and it's just you, which is a big blind sight that we have, because everyone is going through stuff. We may not know. There are people that show less, or that, go through different kind of struggles, but everyone is going through that. Even the more evolved spirits are going through that, because at least when they look at us bringing so much trouble to our lives, they feel sorry for us. So they are not exactly happy as well, because they are seeing their brothers and sisters suffering. And in certain occasions, there is very little they can do to remove us from that if we don't want to. That's why, they bring the books, they bring the knowledge, they stay by our sides when they are incarnate, they inspire us. But I mean, we are the ones that have to take the steps to change things. And so I think I understand completely what you're saying. And this is a very immature way of reacting, of course, on our part. And I mean, I do not mean to say that we cannot feel sorry or we cannot feel sad with the things that happen to us. Okay, just for the past 2 months, I've been suffering from this sciatic. Thank God I got the injection, the epidural, and it was hell. Okay, please allow me to cry and to complain. But I mean, this is a different way of doing things. It's not that I was, oh no, I don't feel anything. Oh no, this is great. Send me more. No, we are not talking about it. We are talking about, yeah, right, after a certain age, this is what happens. It's the natural course of life. Not that I'm happy with that, not that I want to have more. But yeah, it's not because I was singled out. And now that I'm my 15, go there and just go through all those things. No. So we're not saying that we do not feel and that we would not wish things to be different. It's exactly the feeling and wishing for things to be different that will lead us to a different approach in life, in facing all the situations. Okay, it is here. What can I do to better this, or not to get in trouble because of the situation anymore? Or am I just going to be here complaining about life when I have alternatives to make it better? This is what she's saying here. It's not just to look around and say, oh, I cannot get a better job or a raise in my job because the economy is very bad. So I'm blaming the economy, I'm blaming the wars, I'm blaming everything else, and not necessarily getting into a path of acceptance, knowing that, yeah, this is really true, or even try to look for an extra job or something else to make up for what we're lacking, right? So there's, yeah, there is all that. But I think mainly is the time we waste to feel and to place ourselves in a victimizing position is precious time.
Yes, it's true. Thank you, Gisela.
Again, easier said than done, but we will get there. Sonia?
As the first sentence, dear friends, devote you could hold your tears, because it's not easy, this process to keeping good. Then, but in another sentence, however, is made by different types of people, multiple steps in the construction process. Then we need all kind of service, small ones, big one, show for everybody, people, the leader, the people who follow the leaders. Then it's important to us to keeping the aspect of good is to know small small works make difference, because we need all kind of people, all kind of help in this process. Hold your tears. Then it's very, very touch this sentence for me.
And you see, Sonia, uh, like we already mentioned other times, this is a very new book. It's just from 2 years ago. So it's a very update, you know, messages that she's bringing. And when she starts, rejoice, right? But immediately she acknowledges that they know that we are going through a hard time, especially those that want to break with the actual way of life, because not only it's going to be very hard for them, you know, if I'm in a cocoon and, you know, start my life as a butterfly, it's hard for me to break the cocoon and go. There is no one there to help me, and they can't, because if I, you know, if someone else goes there and break the cocoon, the butterfly will not survive because and not fly, because it doesn't exercise the, you know, what it has to be putting to work so that it can fly when breaking the cocoon. So we are in this process. And so it's very individual, not necessarily there will be people there, you know, with a pat in your back, pat your back, you know, go and, you know, motivating or cheering for you. And on the contrary, we will see a lot of people that is going against this trend and thinking that you are completely out of your mind, thinking and going in a different path, especially surrounding all the negativity and all those, you know, things that we are having currently in the world. So she tells us here, you know, we see you. We know how hard it is for you to do what you're trying to do. And, you know, having to deal with the adversities that it is within. It's not even the outward adversities that we are talking about. We are talking about what is, you know, sometimes it just seems to be much easier to say, you know what, I did my best. That's why, you know, in terms of this process of getting to know ourselves, bringing more spirituality to our lives, it is so hard. Because if we stop for a moment, to have to restart is so much more difficult. Um, we see that everywhere. So, yeah. So let's read a little bit more. Um, in a society, there is enough opportunity for everyone evolving in it. In that sense, there are different areas of activity with no room for frivolous and lazy people. The earth is a kind mother that offers all her children the opportunity to make it more beautiful, and to fix the imperfections that still make her a world of trials and expiations. You understand that you have big responsibilities for doing good things. So do not be upset because those who do not understand you set up obstacles on your path. Wipe the sweat off your face and smile because you are at the service of the truth. Again, like you were saying before, we all have different talents. We all can contribute in a different way. And all the diversity that we have in terms of the way we were brought up, I mean, the intellectual achievements, the artistic achievements, the financial achievements, you know, and the goodness in our hearts, that all of us have something that we can do. You know, there are people that can stay like 3 or 4 hours meditating and just irradiating good vibrations to the world. And I mean, don't ask me to be 30 minutes doing that. I have problems taming my thoughts, right? But there are others that just can't sit there still. And I mean, this is a talent that they have. So, and to some, it may seem nothing, right? Because it seems such a passive position because it's not palpable, and others are there, you know, going to places where there were hurricanes and rebuilding cities and etc. And it doesn't mean that their work is better than the one that is sitting 30 minutes irradiating for the world every day with such discipline. So again, we have, right, our different tendencies. We all can do things, but like she says here, there is no room for frivolous or lazy people. You know, this is not the time for us to be accommodate. So find your niche, find your, you know, things that you can do. And again, it's not a matter of us thinking, oh, I have to stop the wars in, you know, that are happening in the world now. No, it's I have to stop the war that I have within myself, of not accepting me, of not understanding me. I have to stop the war that I have with my loved ones, my close family, my neighbors. It doesn't mean that we have to go far or big to do what is required here. Here, what she's saying is don't be selfish and don't just put yourself trying to justify your inertia in saying, oh, it's because I'm a victim. It's because I suffer so much and this doesn't work and that doesn't work and this, you know, because this is what we normally do. So she says we have those big responsibilities, and in the same way that for many time and centuries we did not understand others that advanced it before us, there will be people now that will not understand, and not only they will not understand, but they will set obstacles in our path. So do you know what you're doing here? You really have at your heart that you are at the service of truth, like she says, of bringing, uh, you know, a cradle for a new generation with that we will be part of. Okay, we will be back. Questions, comments?
I'd like to mention something that I watched at TV 2 days ago. In Brazil, the south part of Brazil, they are living so bad situation with flood by severe weather. And one woman was there helping others, and the reporter asked her about herself. And then she mentioned she was rescued with her mom and her sister and was there all night and day helping others.
Mhm.
And the reporter asked her, how you have this kind of energy for like 24 hours working?
Mhm.
And she answered, first she paused a little bit and then she answered, in this situation, God sent us this kind of energy.
Yeah.
Then it was so emotional from me because many times we always behave like, oh, poor me. And she has a lot of calls in the middle of the problem there, but she's still working.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It,
So, yeah.
it's an example for this because
Mhm.
it's every time when we want to do something good, things I know by my experience, God sent me some challengers. Then it's opportunity. You want to work in good? Okay, face this kind of problems and work.
Yeah, because it also strengthens us, you know. Uh, all of that, it strengthens us. And while you were saying that, you know, there will be people that will be watching the same thing that you did, you know, this woman just being rescued and then staying 24/7, no, you know, non-stop helping others. And there will be people that say, well, you know what, this is the reason why I don't go, because I cannot do what she does. uh you know, it brings from the exaggerated, you know, I mean, if I don't not I cannot do like she does, so I don't go. But I mean, if you go and work for an hour, it's good enough. It is going to be contributing already. But you see, there is, you know, this tendency, like we say when we talk about, you know, great references that we have in the world from the past, from today. We've talked about Buddha. If we talk about, you know, Moses or Jesus or Chico Xavier or so many, or Mother Teresa, we say no, they were special. Of course, they were special, but I mean, they are setting an example for us to do things. It is not expected that we will have the same resilience that they do. And I mean, they didn't acquire that overnight. This is the result of work that have been, you know, going on for many lifetimes. But if I can just do something, just you know, the little that I do is good enough. And you see, so some people will watch that saying, "Oh,
Ridiculous.
you know, I can never do that," or they will feel so ashamed because they will look at this woman and say to themselves, I would
Ridiculous.
have so much more condition to do something,
If you're
and I'm here,
the person a day,
she is there, you know. So there are all those psychological movements that happen within us, and the only thing that should be happening is, oh my God, if she can do it, I can do it as well, or I can do something, right? And not, or not say, oh, there are enough people doing things already, they don't need me. Or like now they are asking for donations. Well, you know, I can only give $1 or $10. It's not going to make a difference. I mean, if everyone gives $1, it's going to make a huge difference in the sum up of parts. And this is what she's saying here. It's society. It's all of us, being invited to work together, to be together, and to help each other in their needs or in supporting them in their decision to go through a different path. Question, comment. So, okay, no one crosses. Oh, go ahead, Sonia.
Okay, I have a question. When she mentioned about frivolous and nurtured people, my question is, do you believe everybody has inside themselves ability to be a different person, or it's so long way to achieve this kind of change in frivolous and in nature, to be to have good feelings and to work?
Yeah, so the image that is coming to my mind is the following. We are all like, plain terrain. And in all of us, it was planted a seed. It's the same terrain, it's the same seed. And each one of us will be responsible for nourishing this terrain, for, allowing the seed to grow. Being fertilizing the soil with our thoughts, our attitudes, or damaging the soil with our actions and attitudes, with the positive thinking and the negative thinking, the frivolous and lazy thinking, or, I will not be afraid of, having to venture out of the soil and break the skin of the seed to start sprouting. And this is something that we have to have absolutely clear in our mind. From the point we think about a creation and a creator, regardless of the name we wanted to give to this creator or the cause of all things, one thing, at least the way in Spiritism we understand, is there is no privilege. Everyone receives the same condition, begin at the same condition to go and build their garden. But now I gave you life. I gave you the opportunity. Now it's up to you to do and to do what you want to do, with just one fatality, which is, I know how it started. Let's say God is telling us, I know how it started and I know how it ends. But the middle, it's up to you. You are my children. You are light. You are destined to light and to complete perfection and happiness. Those are the two moments. How long it's going to take and how you are going to be working this middle, this is the gift that I give to you. There are rules, right? Very much like when we are planting a seed. If I don't water it, if I don't protect from the weather or things like that, it will go through difficult situations. Eliza, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I'm loving this today. It's just amazing. And I remember when I was growing up, my mother has said, you have the rule books. She talked to us about the 7 deadly sins. She talked to us about the Bible, and she told us many stories. She goes, here's the rule book. She goes, these are the rules, the 10 commandments, think about this. She says, when you veer off of this, is your own decision. And this is where your personal journey begins. And I had no clue what she was talking about. I was young, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. And as I was growing, I realized in certain places I was indoctrinated not to be creative, not to do for the community. And it was about selfless action. You got to get this, you got to have this, you need to get the car, get the money, get the house, get everything was like, I called it the disease of itis. And it took a lot to kind of reframe and kind of look at things differently and say, wait a minute, I don't exist on this planet by myself, there are others. And even to try to be sociable and, in a community, to do for a community, I was stepping into it with suspicion because of what I was taught in school, and almost a thing of being even a little suspicious and frightened. And then I realized I was like my own worst enemy. I was the biggest obstacle for me to do things. It was the funniest thing. And I had to really work hard on that to get over that hump. And there was a time of confusion because I kept hearing, well, you need to be a success. You got to get X, Y, and Z in order to prove that you can make it. And then I hear the other side that people are saying, remember the 10 commandments, remember the 7 deadly sins, don't become this, don't, think about this. It's about the people, it's about the land, it's about nurturing. And I went through this stage that it was very difficult for me until one day, through prayer, I woke up and said, oh my goodness, I am my worst enemy. I need to remove myself out of my way. And this is how and led me to many things like this. And of course, this wonderful group, which I appreciate greatly. And I find this, what we're talking about today, really important. And I feel like it's talking to me specifically, even about things I'm going through at this very moment. So I just want to share that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eliza. It's it is so true. But you see, while we were talking, I was thinking, the growth of the generations, right? I very much heard the same things. Like, one of the things that I used to hear when I was very young, it was first myself, second myself, third myself.
Yes.
There are the 3 basic rules, the iitis, like you said, right?
Yes.
Thinking about I'm just thinking about me. And I mean, when you think about the different generation, when you think about, the way we live it in small communities, there were not this globalization and possibility of, following through what is happening in the world. Like, like Sonia was telling us now that, this tragedy that it has happening in the south of Brazil, hundreds and hundreds of family with no place to live, no food, and I mean, a real tragedy. And now, even if, I don't know Brazil quite well, I'm not Brazilian or this or that, the whole world is following that. We all get impacted by that. And this, especially when it inspires compassion, in a way makes us grow and makes us think that it's not just about myself anymore. And the more, like we say here, is not about just my thoughts and my well-being, because my well-being is compromised by the energy, because we talk, we need oxygen to live, right? And we all know about that. But there is a spiritual oxygen that also nourishes us, and many people are unaware. And whatever is happening in the world in terms of, good and bad things, it's going to impact this spiritual oxygen, and it's going to impact me. It's like, the pollution, the spiritual pollution that I'm breathing, or the spiritual well-being when I'm, joining in efforts of, changing my mental setup and all of this, like you're saying. And of course, it will bring surprise to so many people, why is this person, wait, I mean, it's all of a sudden trying to be generous and helping
Yeah.
me. What's her agenda, right? What's her agenda? I mean, uh, people perhaps will refuse. I had situations like that people refused it by my goodwill.
Mhm.
But I understood at the time, and I think everything that you brought is so important, and I think we are going through that. I can see already in the new generations, that the understanding that they already have about diversity and this different cultures and way of choosing the way they are going to be living and all that. It's that to us is still requires a period of adaptation. To them, I remember a friend of mine, her children was is now I think they are 12 and 14, and but they were maybe about 2 years ago, and or a bit more. But she was telling me, oh, just sorry, I had to go to my girls and explain to them about homosexual affection. And I didn't know how to talk to them about that because they live here in New York City. Okay, all of a sudden you will be seeing all the different kinds of relationships. There is a slogan here now that's saying New Yorkers don't get surprised with anything, right? Because everything happens here, right? And and then she said, I was so nervous. I didn't know how to bring about it and what they would be saying or questioning, and if I was going to traumatize them. And she said, all of a sudden, she said, Mom, we know that. What what do you want to try? What are you trying to say? Like, to them, what's the most perfectly thing in the world if they are people that are the same sex and they love each other. And she was sharing that with me, you see.
Mhm.
And we see that, like, even the way that, okay, let's celebrate all the holidays and everything and understand. So this is what is happening, but of course it's a transition, and we are in a country that definitely, in terms of spiritual involvement, it is more than some other countries because of everything and that we've been teaching here, at least in terms of the what we have to do. It may be something that you still don't feel within yourself, but you will get used to it and do it. For other countries, other cultures, like the Islamic culture in certain places where there's is still um, so much more difficult even for a woman to place themselves. Imagine, so we are not trying to say that the US is superior. Okay, there are countries that are in a much better condition than we are. Just this week there was a list of the countries that uh, present the lowest level or percentage of corruption. And we have Denmark and Norwegian and all those things. So I'm not trying to say, but yes, we live in a better condition here, even because of the possibilities that we have from the country. But at the end of the day, that's why we have missionaries that go to, like Mother Teresa, that go to areas that are in so much need of at least physical assistance, because we are not saying that they do not have spiritual involvement, but we are going to be going. But yes, this is the main transition, I think, is to leave the I behind, and understanding that the I is not going to survive if we don't think about the we. Because, think about ecology, right? I may have 5 different kinds or 7 different kinds of garbage beans, right? With the different bag colors. But if I am the only one doing that, I cannot say that I'm preventing. I mean, I have to do that. Everyone has to do that. But you see, unless the community as a whole think about that, the progress in this area is not going to be that much. We are going to be still jeopardizing the planet, right? Any comment or question? Let's read this. And then we stop here. No one crosses the swampy terrain without concern for the complex endeavor. Some lack the courage to proceed, some fall before they reach their goal, while others get tired and complain. Be you the one who advances, even if the marshlands are vast and threatening. You choose the narrow door presented by Jesus. The wide door has the tours and attractions that delay the march, usually intoxicating the travelers who are drawn to it, holding them back in the middle of their interrupted journey. So, in my words, is no matter what, you have to advance. Just dress appropriately. I was remembering a story that we have about Chico Xavier. It seems the medium that we have, the in Brazil that wrote through mediumship more than 500 books, all donated to charity, and that really brought awareness in terms of spirituality to Brazil and other places in the world as well. And but of course, he was a human being, and even as evolved as he was, he went through the whole process that we have as human, going through illnesses, to malice, to all those things that we ourselves face living in the world. And there was a time that he was, getting into this position of victimization, a little bit, a tiny bit. And then since he had a very close approach with his spirit mentor, that was the spirit Emmanuel, that we had the books 2,000 years ago, and others that he talks about some of his reincarnations. And he goes to Emmanuel and says to Emmanuel, implies to Emmanuel, listen, aren't you seeing everything that I'm going through? Can't you do something about it? And of course, he didn't even have to say anything. Just by thinking, Emmanuel already knew what he was thinking, but probably Emmanuel waited for him to verbalize, just to see if he was going to be brave enough to do that thing. I do so many good things, do something for me. And then Emmanuel responded. And I just love this case, really. I think about it often. That even him, as much as he loved and praised the relationship with Chico, right, as being spirit mentor and all that, he was limited in his actions concerning easing up the challenges he had to go, and all of us had to go. But he said, listen, but I with all the teachings and all the lessons that I provided to you, I gave you a raincoat, a hat for coat. I gave you a rainbow and an umbrella. What I was implying with all that it was going to rain. But now, having to face the rain with all this apparatus is so much easier than just having nothing. So here is what she's trying to tell us, I know it's not going to be easy. I know you have to go through these marshlands that are vast and threatening, but you have your, marshlands boots or clothes, appropriate clothes that will, garments, right, that will help you cross this field. Don't be attracted by the wide door that seems that life is so much easier. It's a escape and an illusion, and you know how illusions how illusions, where they lead us, right? There are many people that go to drug addiction because of that. And can we say that after they are better because they had a few moments of escaping the world or this or that? It was just an illusion, a fake kind of removing them from the world and having temporary pleasure, right? So this is what we have to do, and the thing here is we are already in the middle of the field. If we stop here, we're going to be swallowed by it. Getting back is not an option because it will require basically, the downgrading of ourselves, the same kind of effort. It's just moving forward, just a bit more. And that's why she says, rejoice and take comfort in knowing that we are fully aware of what is happening with you, all the commitment and work and sacrifice that you are doing, even sacrifice in the sense that Eliza was talking about, I have to remove myself, my old self from the picture. I have to give way for my new self to predominate and be resilient in this march. And we are going to be finishing this next week, okay? But we have a little more time if you want to make a comment or ask a question. Yes, Sonia.
Okay, then every time when I face like storms and challenger and feel like tired and sad, sometimes sad, but most tired, like my soul is so heavy and I need time for myself, and I ask, oh, I need some pause. It's very interesting what happened. Usually I catch a cold and then I need to be in my bed, cure that disease, small disease. Mm-hmm. Then while we are reading, I remember this, and sometimes we're asking, oh, I need to relieve this kind of pain and need a pause. And then we have what we ask. You are tired, okay, you can repose there on the couch, in the sofa, or in the bed. Then pay attention every time when we feel tired, because to stop, it's not always what we really need, because what we receive is different kind of the way.
Yes, absolutely.